What's going on, YouTube? Desmond here, Ecoast Arb, and I've had some people recently ask some questions about ungating and how to get ungated in certain products and brands. So I figured I'd make a quick video for y'all, kind of a step-by-step tutorial to walk you through the process. And it is super easy. It's not something to be scared of. It seems really intimidating as a new seller, and I promise it's not as hard as you think it is. And once you do it a couple times, it's a piece of cake. And I would definitely never leave profit on the table from a product just because I was gated. I would 100% go through the process to get ungated, especially if it's a good profitable product. Um, so if you're a new Amazon seller, you're going to find that you are going to be what we call gated in certain products, which means you may try to send them in or put them into your catalog, and Amazon's going to tell you, hey, you can't do this. You're going to have to require some approval. And you can see here in RevSeller, I've got this little red required approval button, and also it pops up in SellerAmp too if you use SellerAmp, which you should be doing. Eligible, no. So this is just a product I pulled, just a quick search to find. And I've also pulled up one here. You can see on this Starbucks listing, my little button here is green. So I am ungated in Starbucks. I can sell Starbucks products. I am not ungated in Doritos. So super easy. There's going to be 2 steps to the ungating process. As a new seller, you're going to find that you're going to be gated in categories, which are the big categories like gourmet food and beauty and clothing. And then you're also going to be gated in brands within those categories. So you're going to have to do both. But the good news is you can get ungated in a category and also a brand using the same invoice. So we don't have to make 2 purchases here. And also, once you get ungated in a category, that is the first and last time you will have to do that. Now, you will have to unlock brands within that category still, but you won't have to do the category brand ungating anymore. So, this example is going to be for grocery and gourmet food. And it's also good to mention that some brands, now this is once you get the category unlocked, some brands within a category automatically ungate. And there's a ton of them. It's different for everybody. Some people get auto ungated in certain brands and some people don't. So it's kind of something you just got to try. But always, always, always just try it. You never know. Sometimes it may just automatically ungate you in a brand and you won't even have to submit an invoice, which is awesome. So always click that required approval button and just see. And if it turns out you have to submit an invoice, then you go through the right channels and get the invoice and ungate it and continue to sell. So in the grocery and gourmet food category, and a little disclaimer here, this is what worked for me. I can't swear it'll work for everybody, but it did work for me. I know other people that have done this successfully. So trial and error, but this is where I got my invoice for grocery and gourmet food. It's called Frontier Co-op. It's a really big website. They've got a lot of grocery, food products. They've got spices and herbs, and they even have health and personal care. So you may can actually use this same invoice to ungate the beauty category. I'm not really sure. So you might can double up here and maybe use one invoice for multiple things. But we're just going to come in, and there's a couple ways you can do this. You can spend some time on the Frontier Co-op website and actually look for products that are profitable because they do exist. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time here trying to find you one, but just to prove it, we're going to come over to Keepa and let's type in Frontier Co-op in our brand here. So Frontier Co-op, there's 715 ASINs currently on Amazon with the Frontier Co-op brand, and it looks like it is not being dominated by anybody. There might be a couple of co-op market ones here, but a lot of opportunity there. I'm sure you can go through these and compare to the website here, and eventually maybe find something to buy that not only will get you ungated, but you can also make a little profit off of. So that's even cooler. But I did not go through all that trouble. All I did was find literally one of the cheapest things that you can find on this website. And I've actually got the exact invoice that I used to get ungated here. Now I've blocked out all my personal information, but you can see this is the exact invoice I used to unlock the grocery and gourmet food category. It's pretty simple. There's a couple components that you'll need with your invoices. One of those being the source itself is going to need to be on there. Also, their address is going to need to be on there. And you're going to find that not always in these invoices are these sources going to list their address. That's not a problem. We can type that on there. It's not a big deal. Don't let that deter you. Also, we're going to have to buy 10 units of a product. And you can see here, I did the plastic spice jars, and also did the vitamin C here, the dynamic health. And I think that was profitable at the time. I don't think it is anymore. I don't sell that anymore. But there's definitely some opportunity to find profitable products on the Frontier Co-op. And here's a little nugget for you. I'm not sure if this code still works, but it looks like I used a discount code here. So if you're in the process of doing this step by step, give that code a try. Maybe it'll save you a little money. I'm not sure. But we're going to have all this. We're going to have our 10 units here. We're going to have our shipping address and our billing address. And it's important that these match the same address that you have in your Amazon Seller Central. That's a really important part of the invoice process. And that's pretty much it. And so when you come back into this ASIN that you're trying to unlock here, you're going to click this little requires approval button, or you can do it manually in the Amazon Seller Central. I'm not going to do that, so because I don't want you to see my storefront. But click on this. It's going to take you to a page where it says, hey, you're gated in this. You're going to hit apply. And when you do that, either it's going to auto apply, which best case scenario, that's awesome, cool. You don't even have to buy anything now. Or it's going to say, hey, you need to submit an invoice. So you're going to upload this invoice of yours with all your information on here. Now, some people like to highlight or circle the information. I don't ever do that. I haven't had an issue with not getting approved by not doing that. It's just kind of a personal preference, I guess. But that is pretty much it. You're going to submit that to Amazon. And typically, in my experience, I have noticed if they are going to approve you, you will get approved very quickly. Fortunately, it is a very automated process, and a lot of people kind of refer to this time period as the golden years of ungating due to that automated process. So it's a lot of trial and error. Try some things. Some things may work. Some I've heard people having successes with retail receipts. I've heard people having successes from places like Kohl's and Nike for clothing and stuff like that. So test it around, see what you can do. It's a super automated system. It checks for a couple of keywords, I think, maybe, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And that is pretty much all you have to do. If you don't get approved, I have had that happen a couple times, not often, but I've been told that if you don't get approved, just keep applying, keep reapplying, reapply, and eventually you just kind of have to bang your head against Amazon enough to where they will just kind of give in and say, okay, here, you can have it. Um, I'm currently going through that myself on an ASIN. I have resubmitted it several times and it still gets denied, even though it is a legitimate invoice and it does have everything that they are requiring. So a little bit of a being a hardhead here might pay off, but also things like that may create a barrier for other sellers. So if you can just kind of put your head down and keep at it and eventually get unlocked, maybe other people might quit early, and that could be a really good opportunity for you. So that is it for this one here. Like I said, Frontier Co-op, and that's going to work for grocery and gourmet food. And then when you get that category unlocked, you're also going to have to submit another invoice for brands within the category. So for this one, we would probably we could try the Frontier invoice, and it may work for Doritos. I'm not really sure, or it may not. If not, we're going to have to go source this product, or at least something by that same brand. Same thing with the invoice, 10 units. It needs to have the source's name and address on it, as well as your name and address that is registered to your Amazon storefront. And so, happy ungating. Let me know if it works in the comments, and if you found some value in this video, drop me a like and subscribe for me. Help me keep this page going. Thanks.